Hey, everybody, welcome to Chaos Night on the Psychic and the Doc. Uh, yeah, National Chaos Day. Do they like plan this like after an election? Like, is this like the way that they, it's like not the day of the election, not the day after, but the day after that? Is there a,
Yeah,
like, probably, I don't know. Did I make that up?
no, it sounds very plausible, Dr. Pat. And I was when we saw that November 9th, which of course is today, is
Yeah.
National Chaos Day. Well, come on, we couldn't pass that up. And of course, we know that 2 days from now on Saturday, it's Veterans Day. So we'll do a shout out to all of the men and
Yes,
women
let's
in
do that.
uniform. Thank you for your service. I know we're in perilous times, and we all here at Transformation Network, and I
Yeah.
think anybody, any
Yeah.
decent person, we really appreciate and thank all of you. So thank you very much.
You know, okay, got to tell me about this. All right. I forgot it was National Chaos Day,
Oh, there you go.
but
There's your chaos.
I forgot and I didn't forget. But there's also something as chaos theory. Now, I want to tell everybody live call in show. We are not planning to have chaos in the show today. We're planning to have like a whole bunch of callers 1-800-930-2819. Hold on, I got some stuff up here. I don't even know what I'm doing up
Yeah,
there.
we are
But
not going to
we're
have chaos. We are going
thank
to
you.
have control.
Well, oh my gosh. Okay. But Mark Anthony is my role model on that. For those of you just that are wondering, who the heck are we talking about here? Who are we talking? You're tuned into the psychic and the doc, and we're just going to spend a few minutes. Then we're going to go right to the phone. Sally, Marie, Kathleen, Tom, Dick, Harry. Doesn't matter, whoever you are. Okay. So when you think about National Chaos Day, true confessions, what do you do? What did you do today, Mark?
Oh, well, as usual, I had a million things on my plate. It's
Like what?
funny.
Swimming with the dolphins? No, work, right? Work
Well,
related.
work, but
Yeah.
I always start my day off. I do an ice cold plunge. I have a pool and I go into it. I like that ice cold plunge because, yeah, I've done lots of reading on it and the Japanese,
Oh
the
yeah,
people in the
yeah,
Nordic countries.
yeah.
It makes you more awake and alert. It's good for your heart, for bringing down stress. It combats depression. And let me tell you, and I always have a steaming hot cup of coffee waiting, for me when I get out. So I go from the
Oh,
ice cold to the coffee. And I'll tell you, that first when you go in, it's like talk about chaos, but I've come to look forward to this, and it really does. It really keeps you sharp. But and then I go for about a mile walk every morning, and then when I get back, then I start working on various projects. Today I did a 2 hour interview with this really great guy, Sean Patrick, and he's got a podcast through a mirror darkly, through a glass darkly, and we were
I
talking about all sorts
love
of creative
that.
stuff. Yeah, he's really great. We should have him on the show.
Wow, come
He's
on.
yeah, former military, and delves into all sorts of really deep and paranormal, dark topics, and it was really quite a great show. And then doing just all sorts of stuff, dealing with Rocky and I are planning because we're doing a lot of traveling
Oh
next year.
boy.
So I'm going to be out there
Okay.
seeing a lot of you. So yeah,
I'm
so
trying to
it's
do a lot of
chaos, but we're
traveling.
trying to
I know.
control the chaos.
Well, it's so funny. Let me tell this little story. So Mark and I were busy and we're doing these things, but busy is like the worst word. That is not really it. We're just tuned into our purpose. Let's just call it that. Because when you're tuned into your purpose and you do what Mark just described, and Rocky, of course, you've seen Rocky on the show, and Linda, of course, as my producer. Um, Sierra produces the show for us, but each of us have our own like people. And today was an interesting day. And it started out my day because we're in the process of raising funds. We're very close. I just announced to my team we're so close with finishing our fixes. January is a realistic, we're getting ready pumped up. But in the meantime, I'm also managing funding on the right hand side over here, the funding things. And then in the middle of that this morning, Mark sends me an email about the image, and I totally like, I went off into a place like, are you talking about the episode? And I went into this long story about, well, the episode image, blah, 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 blah. That is the beginning of starting your day with chaos. And at the same time, I'm doing that, I'm talking to my buddy Alon, and I'm saying, okay, financial people want to understand, what the heck are you saying? So here we are in the middle of this day that I forgot was the day and the moments of chaos. Now, I love what you said about jumping in the pool.
Yeah.
I love what you said about that, because despite everything going on, we have to take a moment for self care and self compassion, or
Yes.
we end up doing like the 4 or 5 things today. Me sending crazy emails because I totally am not understanding, not talking to my team about, okay, well, who was doing the images, just totally not doing that, because we have done this. Are you ready? What we've done? I'm going to read what we have done. We have mathematically moved beyond normal equations, and normal equations that produce random results are the beginning of chaos theory. Now, chaos theory is based on the idea that small events like these little pitiyoon things I just mentioned today can significantly affect the outcome of seemingly unrelated events. Everybody hold on to that for a minute. And then Google the rice experiment. Go ahead. Dr. Emoto's work. Google it. Watch this other guy that does it. Watch the rice experiment, because what you're going to find is, even in the middle of emails about banners, funding people calling you, website people call of you, take a minute and jump into the pool. If you do, what happens is you can neutralize the chaos in your life. Now, Mark, not everybody's got a pool, but tell them what I mean metaphorically.
Well, chaos is not always a bad thing either, because we all have to deal with it. And when I said we have control, and you go, uh-oh, and I knew you were going to react like that, because there are people, and look, I like to maintain control over the chaos in my life, but the truth is nobody can control everything, and when you try, it just causes a whole lot
Yeah.
of stress. And so chaos sometimes could be embracing our imperfections, embracing and acknowledging we don't have control over things. And sometimes it's fun to embrace the chaos and find humor in our lack of control. And also, every now and then, it's good to do something spontaneous, because that's chaotic. All of a
It
sudden you say,
is.
you know what, I'm not doing this today. Screw it. I'm going for a walk in the woods, or I'm going, to a theme park, or whatever. So chaos is not always a bad thing. We tend to think it is,
It's
when
not.
it's not. It's
It's
part
not.
of life.
Right, right. So we're going to take your calls today, but remember this, like when you're thinking about, there are people that have dedicated their entire life to mathematical algorithms to try to talk about this. We talk about chaos in financial markets, but here's the point. Chaos theory, what it does is it describes the quality as the point by which stability moves to instability, in order, and order moves to disorder. And I want to tell you, for me, that happened within a 45-minute period this morning, because I let it happen. And what happens is you can spread your chaos. Now, I didn't jump in the pool, but I had a minute. Linda walked out with the little doggy, and I took my shoes off, my socks off, and I simply walked outside and stood on the little cement outside the door, walking on the grass. 30 seconds calm me down enough to come back in. And Mark, I apologize to you for those crazy emails, which I absolutely don't even know what I was talking about now that I went back and read them. And this is what we can do. What if we can learn the beauty of chaos? Let's take a 30-second break. When we come back, we are hitting the phones. We're fired up tonight, because chaos is our friend sometimes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. boy, everybody, welcome back. We are going to go right to the phones. Before we do, Mark, we always forget to do this. Please tell people again how they can get a hold of you because people ask, I don't want to know. I want to know where Mark is. Where is he going? How can I do
Sure.
readings? How do they do that?
Yeah, to find out about getting a reading with me, please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com. And I've got two very special online light circle events limited to 6 people. And those are going to be on December 9th and 10th. And if you sign up for my newsletter at afterlifefrequency.com or go into my calendar of events, you can get tickets for those. And of course, you'll find out about the Psychic and the Doc coming out every week. And in 2024, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. Rocky's got me booked at several conferences. I mean, in the first quarter alone, I'm going to be at the Sedona Ascension Retreat, and that's going to be in March. And then in April, we're going to be in San Rafael at New Living Expo. I may be at the Center of Consciousness in Tucson, and then in Tampa for an Edgar Cayce Field Conference on reincarnation, and then in Virginia Beach for an Edgar Cayce Reincarnation Summit. And that's just the first couple months. So we got a lot of things going on. And I just got word from Discovery Channel. I will be in an episode of a new series. I'm not allowed to say the name of it yet until they announce it, but that's coming up too. So you can find out about all of that at afterlifefrequency.com. And the thing is, every week, Dr. Pat and I are here on the Psychic and the Doc and the Transformation Network. And I'm encouraging all of our listeners to check out other shows on Transformation Network because this is really cool. It's positive talk radio. It's for growth. It's for healing. And there are so many great things to be part of, including one of my favorite shows of all time, the Dr. Pat Show.
There you go.
Which is every day. So everybody, please tune into transformationtalkradio.com. I mean, you know how to get here, and check out all these other incredible shows.
I love it. Now, look, this show is all about you tonight. So let's go, Sierra. Who do we have first? Thank you, Mark, for that.
First up, we have Sally from New York. Sally from New York, you are live.
Hey, Sally, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good right now. I've just calmed down quite a bit since 5 o'clock this morning. How about you?
Well, I'm good. And since today is my birthday, you would think that I would know something about the chaos day. If November 9 is always the chaos day?
Yeah, that's what I think it is. Yeah.
And you know what, Sally, don't feel bad because you don't know about it, because I was researching it and every source I looked at says the same thing. Nobody knows when it started, how it started, but for whatever reason, November 9th is National Chaos Day. So the fact that you didn't know it was National Chaos Day sounds appropriate.
It does. And that means you're probably going to be
pretty even keeled, so it wasn't chaotic at all.
Awesome. Now, what can we do to help you?
Well, I was wondering if there's anybody on the other side who has a message for me, and I can't hear Mark.
Oh, Mark.
Testing.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can see him talking. There you go. I can now, yes.
Okay, good.
All right, you can hear me now?
All right.
And
let me ask you, let me ask you.
Oh, wait, now I can hear. Okay.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you on a cell phone, or what kind of phone are you on?
I'm on a cell phone.
Okay. Are you on a speaker?
Nope.
All right.
Are you on earbuds?
Good to go. We're good to go. All right.
Yeah, because you need to be able to hear me clearly.
Oh, okay. She says she knows the rules.
You know the rules.
I love you. All right, Mark.
I'm getting a male energy coming through now. He could be on the level above you, which would be the parent level, or he could possibly be on the grandparent level. And what I'm getting with him, this guy, he was older when he passed. and he was easily into his, I would say, 80s, and he's holding his throat, and I'm getting this very raspy type of voice, and that's indicating to me that he was having a lot of difficulty communicating, speaking prior to passing. My back is absolutely killing me. So this means that he was having a lot of pain in his back, and I feel extremely thirsty. So this could indicate that he very well may have been like in hospice care or some other type of medical care where he was heavily sedated, because the pain that I'm feeling in my ribs and my back, it's excruciating, but there was a dullness to it, which indicates that he was being heavily medicated. And it seems like he was still pretty sharp up till the end, but obviously because of the medication and whatever else was going on with him, there was like a disconnect, which I get with people that were heavily medicated. It's funny, he keeps saying like Janetta. Question, is there anyone in your family that may be of like Italian or Spanish descent?
Not that I'm aware of.
So I'm wondering what this Janetta means. All right, let's take Janetta out of it. Or unless there's a Janet. He could be talking about a Janet. Okay, duh, Mark. Janet. All right, do you recognize this gentleman?
I think it's my father.
Your dad. Okay, that's what I'm saying, father. Or was he elderly when he passed, or did he look older when he passed?
Late 80s.
Oh, well, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we got him here. And now, I know it sounds cliche, but he is wishing you happy birthday. But, I can't really take credit for that because I know it's your birthday. But he is talking about like a chocolate cake with white frosting. It almost seems like a Black Forest cake, but now I'm also tasting a Boston cream pie. Now, that's interesting. Anything with Black Forest cake or Boston cream pie that you like, you dislike, or makes sense to you in any shape, form, or fashion, or could could Boston or something about Massachusetts make sense in any way?
Well, he had a sweet tooth, I believe, and either one of those desserts didn't do anything for me.
Okay. Now, with Black Forest cake, any connections with you or him in Germany? Like any visits there, any connections there?
Well, some of his ancestors were from Germany.
There you go. Okay, so there's the Black Forest cake. In Germany, they call it Schwarzwälder, which is Black Forest in Germany. All right. So he's talking about you in iron. I don't even know if they still make these, but he's holding up what looks like a one-a-day. Remember those one-a-day vitamins with iron? They had a kind of an orangey yellow look. And is there any issues going on with you with iron or protein metabolization?
Not that I know of.
When's the last time you went for blood work and a checkup?
Oh, very recently.
Anything with your iron levels, protein, anemia, anything like that?
No, everything was very, very average.
He keeps talking about iron. All right. If I say iron, what comes to mind for you?
Well, when you said it, I was picturing somebody with an iron, and an ironing board.
Okay, how does that make sense to you?
It doesn't at all.
You know what? Since this is not connecting, I'm not going to strain and struggle. Let's just say that your dad wishes you happy birthday, but a couple weeks ago, we had a woman that called in and she did no on everything. And then about a week after that, I got a very lengthy email where she said after the reading, she realized all these things made sense. So I want you to think about Boston and Massachusetts in general. And you did say your father's family had some connections with Germany, and the Black Forest is around the city of Stuttgart. So I want you to think about that. Also, I want you to think about iron, because there could relate to you or somebody close to you, maybe anemic or having some type of iron deficiency. But he is holding up a one-a-day with iron. So that's what he
Okay.
wants you to be aware of. And also, he said that, did you just do something with your car, some type of surprise with your car or something out of the blue with your car?
No.
Okay, yeah, you're doing too much of the no, no, no.
All right.
There's going to be something with your car. So what I'm going to say is if you haven't taken it in for service recently, get it done, because maybe the iron thing has something to do with your car. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that with you.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about the Black Forest cake a little bit. I think you originally said, no, you don't relate to that or something like that, correct?
Right.
What's your relationship to cherries?
I love cherries.
All right. So you understand what's in a Black Forest cake, right? People think there are other things in it, but I'm talking like the real cake, like the real Black Forest cake. Here's what you do. Because, people make these things for me, and I'm like, that is not a Black Forest cake. So it's a German chocolate cake with whipped cream and cherry filling. Okay. Now, you love cherries. And the question that I asked, how long have you loved cherries? How far back can you remember?
Oh my God, I can remember.
Like a baby, like when you're a baby.
Tree.
Okay,
well,
now you're talking to me.
7,
Keep talking
6,
to me. Keep talking.
Yeah.
You were climbing a cherry tree.
So we were climbing. Well, a couple of us went into somebody's yard. We were like, 6, 7 years old.
That's
and
right.
Climbed his cherry tree and began
That's
eating
right.
it until we were sick.
That's
but
right.
They were so delicious and so wonderful.
That's right. And what happened to you for doing that? Did you get scolded? Did anybody talk to you? Tell me.
I don't think we ever got caught.
Yeah. And so try to put this together. There usually isn't, when you can't see the relationship, it's hard. But I do think that there's a relationship to this and you ironing. And I'm going to ask you one question and I'll let you go. What kind of chores did you do as a kid?
I played.
You didn't have to do any chores? Oh, girlfriend. Oh my God, I'm so envious right now.
No, I don't think I ever did. There were no chores.
Because the most horrible thing that I ever had to do, to this day, I don't do it, is iron. I had to iron my dad's shirts. It was a nightmare. I think Mark is on to something with iron. Now, the validation of who this is has to do with you loving cherries. I mean, Mark could have said strawberry shortcake, and that wouldn't have been it. But there's something here. And here's what I want to say. Do you iron at all? Do you literally iron anything these days? Because that would be an anomaly if you did.
I try not to.
You try not to. And I don't either. I steam everything. But there's something about iron that I really want you to think about because it's connected here. And we don't have enough time on the show to really hold on to it because we got a bunch of people waiting. But I want you to really think about that. I'm not sure it's related to your body, but there's something about iron, wrought iron, iron railing, anything like that. Just be aware of it because usually when you get Mark connecting to a loved one that brings up like a chocolate cake that has cherries that you love, the second message is related for you to be aware of. That's my experience of Mark.
Yeah. And also, Dr. Pat, when I was listening to you, and what's the beauty of this show is I'll get the messages. Dr. Pat is an expert in determining and deciphering metaphors. The iron could also be ironing out an issue, like ironing out a difficulty and a problem. Okay. Yep. So take all that in and ruminate. If we didn't have so many callers, we could spend more time, but we want to get to other people. And, I want to wish you a happy birthday and thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
I think you're going to get it. I think if you step away and then you go about your next couple of days, something is going to pop up. All right. Thank you so much for calling in. Wow. I know. I kept seeing wrought iron. wrought iron,
Yeah,
wrought iron,
there's
like
a lot, and
a
sometimes,
railing is loose or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
sometimes cherries mean February because George Washington, the cherry tree, and
Yep.
President's Day. But with the Black Forest cake, there's something
Yeah.
about Germany. Anyway,
I got it. I love
yeah.
it. All right, let's go. Sarah, who do we have next?
Up next, we have Marie from Florida. Marie, you are live.
Hey, Marie. How can we help you tonight?
Hi, Mark. Hi, Pat. I would like
Hi.
to know if anybody from my family or loved ones has a message for me.
All righty.
All right, I got a female energy coming through, and she's either on your level, meaning like a sibling, cousin, friend, or the level above you, which could be on the parent, the mom, aunt level. And with her, I'm getting toward the end of her life. I feel like a bigger, like she may have either had some extra weight on her, or there was a lot of swelling, because I feel like my body's filled up with fluid. Also getting a nauseated sensation, which is indicating, Marie, that she was having difficulty eating or holding down food prior to passing. Sometimes the nausea could be a cancer indicator, but I keep getting this swelling throughout her body. And this poor lady, she was in quite a bit of physical discomfort prior to passing, getting dizzy, disorientation. So she was having a real hard time maintaining mental focus and clarity. And I'm also getting the sense from her that you were in close proximity to her when she passed, because I keep feeling her hand grasping and touching yours. Does any of this resonate with you?
Yes,
In what way?
I think it's my mom.
Okay, so that would make sense. And were you there with her or in close proximity when she passed?
Oh, yeah, I was holding her hand.
Oh, there you go. Because I'm getting the clasping of the hands. I'm getting an immense amount of gratitude, gratefulness that you were there. She knew that she was going to pass, and even though she was like, okay, this is going to happen, she was still scared. And that you being there, she said it gave her strength, it gave her fortitude, and she said nothing could have made my transition better. And so she is delighted that she's able to make contact through me to you. And she said that roses are where the garden grows, the flowers are where the garden grows. Okay, that's interesting phraseology. Is there something with you and a garden or gardening? And it doesn't look like a huge garden. It looks like kind of a smaller, like a little patch with flowers and maybe some herbs. Does any of that make sense to you?
I recently received flowers, and I even more recently sent a plant dish garden. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Absolutely, it does. A plant dish garden. So this, okay, and in my private readings, I always do about a 10-minute orientation prior, and one of the key factors is your interpretation is more important than mine, because I'm just the conduit with between the other side and your mom. And remember, I said it's a small garden. So she knows that you sent this garden dish garden to somebody, and she said you're a regular Florence Nightingale, and then that's really nice. So, were you her caretaker or one of them in toward the end of her physical life?
Yes.
Yeah, interesting, because she keeps talking about Florence Nightingale, and she said that you see a lot of, to me, they look like doves. They could be pigeons. Pigeons and doves, very similar. But she says you see a lot of doves, and there's like one type in particular. When you see this dove, you get a peaceful feeling, like you think it could be a sign from her. I know that sounds odd, and we see birds all the time, but does that make any sense to you? Particularly, she keeps saying dove.
No.
Hold on. You're knowing. If I say dove, what comes to mind for you?
A bird.
Right, but beyond the bird, what does it mean to you? Or do you use
Um,
Dove soap when washing and stuff like that? But she keeps going Dove, Dove.
hmm. Well, I would connect it somehow through a wedding.
And all right, go with that. Go with that. In what way?
That I think some people release doves at their wedding.
What about a symbol of peace? Let me make this
Okay.
easy for you. You're overthinking things. Yeah. Go with what hits you first, okay? Because a lot of times when people overthink, it creates a barrier. When your mother is showing me doves, and doves are an indication of the white light, the Holy Spirit. In other words, your mom is in what you and I would call heaven, and that she is at great peace. I'm just going to interpret this for you, okay? A lot of times I say, hey, what does that mean to you? I know what it means, but I want you to go with what resonates with you. The message from your mother is that she is in what you and I would call heaven, the heaven dimension, and that she is at peace. And when you see a dove or you think of the image of a dove, she wants you to have that peace as well. And she's talking about you now, and I keep tasting a lot of sweets, and most of us like sweets, but tasting the sugar turning very, very sour. What's going on with you and sugar intake, or possible issues with too much sugar?
Right. I have not been taking care of myself. I eat as though I'm not a type 2 diabetic, but I am a type 2 diabetic.
So what do you think your mother is telling you to change about your eating habits?
Right, to eliminate and decrease.
And we're going to call that
choices.
Bada bing,
yeah.
Bada boom. All right, Dr. Beck.
I got a question for you. You said you put a dish garden together. Is that correct?
I ordered a dish garden. My soul sister's mother passed on Monday.
Okay, here we go. Boom. You bought this beautiful dish garden to give to somebody that passed, right?
Yes, instead of sympathy flowers.
That's right. So tell me about what you wanted to happen when you gave this. What did this mean to you? What did this beautiful gift mean to you? Go ahead. You got it. It's right there on your tongue now. Go ahead. You wanted to comfort her. In other words, peace. Create peace. Peace of mind. Peace of heart. Right? Are you with me now?
Yes.
So you had a beautiful gesture to comfort someone, to bring them a state of peace in some way by this beautiful gift, correct? That was in your heart. So peace was in your heart. That's the dove. The gesture is, instead of the flowers, you created something beautiful. Now, I'm going to ask you one more question. I can't keep you forever on the show. What was in the garden? Just give me some idea of what the garden was made of, if you know. Come on.
There was supposed to be a stop. You said to wait?
Go ahead.
Okay, there was supposed to be 2 peace lilies that were in the picture when I ordered the garden, and then when my girlfriend sent me a picture, they were missing.
Whoa.
Peace.
I love this show.
Yeah, I do too. And see how.
But I want to give her a follow-up.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be important for you to call your friend and explain this and say, I've got this for you as just a gesture of peace. And they were supposed to have it. Do you understand what I'm asking you to do? Not to say they were missing, But if you want the florist or whoever put them together to send them, but do you understand there's something greater for you to do around this? Like pick up the phone and talk to your friend.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
Beautiful. Good job. Good job. And lay off the sugar. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much to
You
each
bet.
of you.
You're
All right.
welcome. Thank you. We're going to take like a 30-second break and we come back. We're right on the phones again. Sierra, let's do it. Welcome back. You're listening to The Psychic and the Doc. I am the Doc. I am Dr. Pat, host of the Dr. Pat Show and Transformation Talk Radio and Transformation Network. Of course, my esteemed colleague, Mark Anthony, psychic explorer, psychic lawyer, and so much more. Again, if you want to make sure you're connecting with Mark or wherever he is, Mark, hit him up with the website, and then we're going to go right to the phones.
Certainly, please visit afterlifefrequency.com, and I invite you to sign up for my newsletter, and it'll keep you up to date. I got a lot of great things coming up for the holidays, including The Psychic and the Doc. We're already working on our Thanksgiving and Christmas shows.
I'm telling you, folks, this is the year of gratitude. Sierra, who do we have next?
Up next, we have Kathleen from Kentucky. Kathleen, you are live.
Hi, Kathleen. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've been wanting to be on here for a long time.
I love it. Now, tell me what kind of phone you're on.
I'm on my cell phone, but I am not on speaker, and I do not have earpieces.
Don't worry about it. All I'm going to ask you to do is when you're talking, just hold it close enough to your mouth. And I know if you're moving around, that could be a little wonky, but I want to get you over the mark. Okay, Mark.
Okay.
Hey, Kathleen. I know you probably want to talk to your human loved ones, but I've got a really cute little dog. It almost looks like a poodle, but it's kind of grayish. Did you have a smaller dog, a really sweet female dog, little dog that passed?
That does sound familiar. Definitely.
I'm sorry, what?
That does sound familiar, like a long time ago.
Well, that's fine. There's no expiration date on spirit communication. So you got this really sweet little female dog coming through that's like, hi. And it's like this animal is just wonderful. And now there is an elderly woman holding the dog. This woman was very frail prior to passing. Her hair was very, very white. She has a very grandmotherly look to her. And I love this lady. There's just like a radiance about her. She was the type of woman that always made you feel good, no matter how gloom or grumpy you could be. She would always have one of those type of sayings to make you feel good about yourself and to help you reevaluate what you were feeling and why you were feeling that way. And I get the sense that she was connected to you. She could have been through your dad's side of the family, but she feels like definitely a grandmother, possibly even great-grandmother. Do you recognize this person?
Yes, I do.
All right. What is her relationship? Don't give me her name, just the relationship.
It sounds like my dad's sister.
Your dad's sister. Okay, so is she older when she passed?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And like I said, I just think she was just a really loving, joyful person. Is your dad in spirit? And the reason I'm asking this, before you say anything, there is a gentleman spirit who just came in next to her, and I'm smelling newsprint, like a newspaper. And so this guy, he had to read his newspaper every day. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
In what way? Yes.
Definitely. There's actually two that would make definite sense.
All right, hold on. Let me hold on.
Okay.
We could have both of them here, but one of the guys, I'm feeling like 5 o'clock shadow. So he may have had a beard, but if he did, it was like real close cropped, or he just had a thick beard, and if he didn't shave, you were well aware of it. And when I'm getting with him, smart guy, and when I say smart, intelligent guy, he seemed like he had a real issue with colleges and college education. That could mean maybe he was college educated but had an issue with them as an institution, or maybe he was very intelligent and self-educated without having been to college. Does that make sense in any way?
Yes.
In what way?
My children's father, he was a much older man, and he was extremely intelligent.
Okay. Was he college educated?
Yes, he was. He was a veterinarian, but he was also like Rain Man kind of mathematician kind of thing.
Got it. And that's interesting, the way you had your auntie show up with a dog, and then your the father of your children, who was a veterinarian. To see how they all come together for a reason. Let's see what he said. One of the things he always loved about you was your smile, your joie de vivre, your joy of life. He said, but lately you haven't been smiling very much. He said he's not being critical, but he said that you're almost giving into the crushing weight of all the emotional pressure around you. And he said, you have to shake it off. He says, I want to see that smile again. And he keeps talking about dimples. Did he have dimples, or do you have dimples? He's talking about dimples.
I got a little bit of a dimple.
Well, that would be a yes. So he wants to see that dimple. What's going on with you? Oh, actually, I'm going to turn you over to Dr. Pat, because that's a Dr. Pat question. Go ahead, Dr. Pat.
I got to ask you a question. Any of these gentlemen go fishing? Did they go fishing?
Yes, my children's dad did.
Okay. And so so here's what it is. I'm assuming is this still in Kentucky?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things I love about the South, and you hear me talk about my stepmom from the South, is one of the things I always remember this, and I never understood it. And that is the idea of saving the dang newspapers to wrap fish. I don't know if that's related to you or not, but there's something about that hit me. I don't know if that's something you enjoyed, but I wonder if any of those folks were really fishing for those spotted bass over there in Kentucky. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, here's what happened when he was alive. Not long, it was like less than a year before his death. There was this massive fish that he didn't know what it was at first, and he would have 3 fishing poles going at once, and by the time he prepped the third one, the first pole would be in the water, and he was trying to fish out the pole because something had grabbed a hold of it. He didn't know what it was, and it turned out to be a very large catfish.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was comical.
It was chaos.
He wanted me to clean the fish.
That's where I'm going. Yep.
And I told him I can't hit Fred in the head. They told me to hit the fish in the head with a hammer, and I said I can't hit Fred in the head.
That's the dimple we needed for Mark. That's the message, right? Because you see, sometimes you're getting a message, and the dimple is you got to laugh more. And you see, isn't it funny how that strange relationship between my recollection of newspaper and fish, and especially in Kentucky? I mean, and you see what happens. You see this moment. You've got to remember these moments and laugh more. All right. Did you ever hit Fred in the head? Did you ever hit Fred?
No.
Did you do it or no? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, look, thank you. But please remember to laugh more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Okay,
thank you. Thank you so much. I think, Sierra, we have time for one more call.
Okay, up next we have Stephanie from Florida. Stephanie, you are live.
Man, those spotted bass, they are so good. Hey, how can we help you? Welcome to the show, Stephanie, right?
Yes.
Hey, how can we help you, Stephanie?
Oh my God, I was just looking up something on the computer and didn't expect that thing. But as everybody, I'm looking to find out and see. I lost my dad recently, and it's hitting me hard.
All right, let's see what Mark can do to help you out here.
Sure. And Stephanie,
Sorry.
I understand, and Dr. Pat and I both understand what it is to lose a father, and it is awful. Now I know that you're in Florida, but there's a male energy coming through who's talking about Ixora, Ixora. Ixora is a type of it's like a shrub. These little, I think they're kind of a reddish pink flower. And I know there's Ixoras in Florida, but he's talking about Ixora. Now, do you have any Ixora bushes, or is there an Ixora street? But he keeps talking about Ixora. And I know that's a weird one. Hold on, before you no. I want you to write down Ixora. So because he's bringing this up quite a bit, and he is telling me that he was ready to go. He was ready to go. He said his condition got to the point where he said, I couldn't hang on anymore. And because the male energy that's communicating with me, that I believe is your father, I feel if I was laying down on my back, I feel like someone's putting bricks on my chest. So what this would indicate to me is cardiopulmonary issues, but definitely difficulty breathing prior to passing. I'm getting this labored breathing, and I get these swollen sinuses, and I'm tasting a lot of blood. This does not always mean a bleed out. This could mean an issue with his blood, a blood infection, or some condition affecting his blood. Does anything there make sense to you, Stephanie?
It all could. Mesothelioma.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is a major lung issue. Okay. And so he wants you to know, he knows how broken up you are. He said, but it was my time to go. And he's handing me 2 packages of cookies. One is Oreos, and the other one looks like the vanilla version of Oreos, but they're sort of like these vanilla cookies with vanilla cream filling. All right, what's with all the cookies, Oreos, and these vanilla cookies? There's got to be something here. And this could be something he liked or you liked. Go ahead.
He lived for dessert.
Okay.
I'm not sure why the Oreos, but
well, it could be like an Oreos, like it could be a cookies and cream, ice cream. It could be a lot of things. And he's talking about Sunday. Now it could be like a hot fudge sundae, or he could be referencing the day of the week, Sunday. Now, for example, my mom passed on a Thursday. That's a Thursday I'll never forget. And that may not necessarily be the day of the week that he passed on, but is there a particular Sunday which stands out for you? Because I keep getting Sunday. Or there could be something about a Sunday. All right, go ahead.
It was the morning that he passed. It was the morning that he had the stroke that took him, but then he lasted another week.
Okay, so the Sunday is when things started declining.
It was a beautiful morning. And we did things. The very last words I heard from him were, "Thank you, girls." And then he had a massive stroke. And it wasn't, we all thought it was going to be the cancer and the mesothelioma, which is a horrendous death.
Yes.
And the stroke took him, but didn't take him fully. He had another week that we spent in hospice.
But see, that's why go ahead, Stephanie.
He wants us to remember. He wants me to remember the Sunday because it was a beautiful morning.
Yes, that's what he wants, and also he wants you to know that he was ready to go. And the stroke, he said, it was better sooner than later. And he said that my girls are the best girls. They're the strong girls. They're the tough girls. And he wants you to know that. And I know he likes flowers because he went from Ixora. Now he's showing me oleander. Yeah. I'm seeing beautiful pink oleander all over the place. So there's going to be something that you're going to see that may involve Ixora and or oleander. and it's going to be a very peaceful feeling for you.
Yeah. I have a quick
I'm
question
hoping.
for you.
I
I have a quick question for
Yeah.
you. Were you located in South Florida by chance, or a different part of Florida?
I'm middle, but he was South Florida. He
Bingo.
was down
That's
in
where that
Boynton.
plant grows. That plant grows in South
Yeah.
Florida. And I know that my family lived in Homestead. That Ixora
Oh yeah.
totally in South Florida. It loves the salty, right? So if he lived down there, bingo, big conversation for you.
Yeah.
So you got to pay attention to what the message was that came through, right?
I have one other thing to ask.
You got about
We'll
10
see
seconds.
if I find out. Is he finally with my mom?
Oh yeah. He said, absolutely. And I know it sounds cliche, but I'm tasting champagne. He says, but we never spent money on the good stuff. We're drinking the cheap stuff and loving it. Does that make any sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, good. All right. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you.
Thank
And you know,
you.
whenever
Thank
something
you.
like this comes up, here's what I tell people. This is a very special plant. This plant. It's in the coffee family too. This is something you may
Oh,
just
that
want to
makes
spend
sense.
right. I was going to ask you who drinks all the dang coffee.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he did spend some time a little bit appreciating this plant, because it's really a remembrance of going back to where he lived.
I will
Okay.
get it immediately, because that
Thank
will bring
you.
me comfort.
You got
thank
it.
you
Thank you.
very, very
You bet.
much.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, my dad loved that plant. They were down there in the Homestead area, way down.
Ixora and Oleander.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody, we didn't get to everybody tonight, but
Yeah.
Dr. Pat and I will be back next week. So please call in next week, and the psychic and the doc, we will be on call. And everybody, have a fun, crazy, and spontaneous rest of your National Chaos Day. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.